And now we get a bunch of shots blocked. 2 seconds to go. A 3 to win it.
Oh, my
And they
goodness.
miss it. And Yale wins. Oh, my God. I get the money line winner. Oh,
Ryan
I want to
bet that live plus 850.
Yeah, they went.
What a win.
They were like hanging in there all game, and then they went down 10. And that's when I grabbed it, plus 850 over at BetMGM right down the street. And they win. This is their second NCAA tournament win in school history. Their first since 2016 when they knocked off Baylor in English. And Yale, the Bulldogs, head into the second round. And they knock off Auburn, who, I got to be honest, though. Okay, so I love upsets, and I did bet Yale. But I kind of really wanted to see that Auburn-UConn game.
Same.
I thought they were going to give UConn the best game. Now, they've been knocked out. You have to feel great for your UConn futures now. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Calipari has 2 potential lottery picks that he doesn't even start.
Yeah.
That don't even start. And they still could not get past Oakland. And it's the same story every year. And then you listen to him in that post-game presser. Like, I'm getting like Urban Meyer vibes. Like, I think it's time for him to want to spend more time with the family, maybe take some time for his health. I love Cal. Like, almost like they should get a guy in there that knows the X's and O's, right? Like, you get a real head coach in there, but Cal could be your salesman, your recruiter. Because nobody could recruit better than him in this country. But the problem is he gets all that talent. He has nothing to do with them. Or he doesn't know what to do with them.
Well, the problem really is, and Jay Wright said this last night on the broadcast, and I think it's so fair. When you've got NIL deals that are, and the transfer portal, that are allowing teams to rebuild these older players, NIL wants players who are not, or NIL incentivized players who are not going to be able to get to the NBA to stick around college basketball as long as possible, and you have the COVID rules, you've got legitimate teams with guys that are 25, 26 years old on them.
Right.
And then Coach Cal, he's recruiting 5-star guys, has the top recruiting class, but he has no older players. Coach Cal's entire mentality is, I don't want any older players. I want guys to go to the league and get their money. But that's not what's in the best interest of the Kentucky basketball program in terms of March.
I do like Houston tonight, minus 15.5 in the first half against Longwood. Total in that game only 129.5. Again, I would lean over minus 115. I have Houston winning it all in my bracket, so they'll probably end up losing this game.
They're not going to lose to Longwood.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. They're not losing to Longwood at all. Would you rather go Jamal Shed or LJ Cryer points? They're both 14.5.
I would probably go Cryer at 14.5. But again, like my concern is just if they do have that big lead in the first half and they do have balanced scoring, are we going to see a lot of those guys in the second half? I don't know. We might, but they're like so beat up right now and so injured, and you're going to have some tough matchups. Like Houston also, I mean, didn't really get any favors from the committee. You know what I mean?
Cryer is so inconsistent, too. He had 7 points against Iowa State, 20 against Texas Tech, 8 against TCU, 11 against Kansas, 25 against UCF. So he had a couple of good games, but he's, for 14.5, that feels actually like a spot where I want to stay away. Makes sense, though, because Vegas has it juiced minus 120 to the under, so they actually think he'll go under that number.
You know what I kind of like? Longwood, I was looking at their team total in the first half, 23.5. I'd play the under. I don't know that they're going to get buckets. That might actually be the better look. Like, if you like Houston in the first half, that might be the better look. Because, like, trusting Houston to score enough to have a 16-point lead, that's tough. But I don't know if Longwood's going to have 24 at the half. Like, Houston guards better than anybody in the country, and now they're pissed off and motivated. You know Calvin Sampson's been on them.
Yeah.
Let's hit on a couple of these because Colorado and Marquette just dropped like 2 seconds ago. Colorado's going to be a 3.5-point dog. Marquette 3.5-point favorites. Total 147.5. I thought Marquette was going down today. They were down 10, and then they come back, they rally, they cover all numbers. Tyler Kolek had, 18 and 10 in his first game back. A couple days ago, Shaka Smart was talking about he couldn't even breathe. He was struggling to breathe. He came back today. He didn't skip a beat. That number seems about right, though. I think Colorado might pull off this upset.
So do I. I think the thing that you can see about Colorado is that they just have very tough shot making.
Yeah.
You saw Eddie
scored 102 points.
Yeah, you saw Eddie Lampkin. Eddie Lampkin, kind of like another one of those DJ Burns likes. He can pass. You can throw it down to him. He's got very nimble feet. Yeah, I kind of like Colorado on the spot, and maybe it's one of those situations where you like to bet the over. Have you gotten a total for me?
Yeah, 147.5. Actually kind of seems a little short. I mean, it's a lot of points, don't get me wrong. It's also a tournament game, and it's a...
Yeah, I like that number. I like that number a lot.
Yeah.
I could see 85 points being scored.
I like both of these teams so much. I don't want to see either of them go home. Like, I like Marquette. I love this Marquette team. For whatever reason, I just feel like something's missing, though. And everybody keeps talking about them, and I like them. They have shot makers. I like Cam. I love Tyler Kolek, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I could trust Shaka Smart. And the way that Colorado's playing right now, they're hot, and I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, 147.5. I think the over would be the play.
The guy that gets in foul trouble, right? That neither one of them can because their team can't afford it. You bring up the three-point shooting. It's so interesting to me. I think if they get in a little bit of a three-point shooting contest, Creighton shoots a little bit better than Oregon from behind the three-point arc, and they defend it just a little bit better. Oregon's been living by the three a little bit. It certainly worked against South Carolina. It worked in the Pac-12 tournament. They've been a hot shooting team of late. But Creighton's got good guard play as well. And they have Shireman as well, so another scoring option that's legit. So I really struggled with the spread on this one. That's where I went back and forth. I think Creighton wins straight up. The cover's bothering me, though. I'm kind of leaning towards taking Oregon in the cover, and maybe it's like a 4-point game.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, outside of South Carolina is tough. I got women's basketball from my mom. She played women's basketball. She was a women's basketball coach, and she's laying the chalk with South Carolina as well. And I'm not going to lie to you. I see it. I understand it. I don't think I can tell anybody off of it. But if we want to play devil's advocate, I will say that there is a team in that bracket that if South Carolina does not make it out of that region, it will be because of Notre Dame. And Hidalgo, that whole team, the defense, Notre Dame at 60-1, because they're 60-1 because they're in the same region as South Carolina.
Yeah.
But if they upset South Carolina and they make it out of that region, 60-1 going into the Final Four feels really, really good. So if you have to, again, only if you have to take another flyer in that region, it would probably be a Notre Dame for me. And, you know, a lot of people are on the Iowa wave. I just don't think they're there defensively, even though Caitlin Clark, one of the best players in the league. I don't think that they're there defensively that whole time, but I do like UConn and Stanford as well at 20-1. If you had to get out of the chalk, I'm letting you know I'm with Ryan. I'm going chalk. I'll lay to minus 145 because I think South Carolina is that good. They have the front court, they have the backcourt deck. They found some shooting this off season. They're shooting the basketball a lot better. It's not going to be like last year where everybody's just hovering around down low and giving out open threes and nobody can hit. Like, I think they can actually shoot the basketball a lot better. So I'm with Ryan. Hey, lay to chalk, minus 145. But if we had some flyers, yeah, LSU 7-1 is interesting. That Notre Dame at 60-1, though, very, very juicy because I think they're a team that they might be able to catch South Carolina slipping in the back end of that region.
Because, I mean, I feel like Michigan State would have converted a lot of hearts and minds with the way they just disposed of Mississippi State. And I would be really scared of Michigan State right now. But I'm not sold on North Carolina as is because I think they go really top-heavy, and there's a lot of uncertainty after the top two, like we talked about. I would not feel comfortable at all backing North Carolina against. I mean, it's like sometimes you have teams in March that, you know, they just get hot and they stay hot, and we've seen that happen with Michigan State in the past. And this was a preseason top 5 team, lest we forget. You know, this was a team that before they lost to James Madison was, you know, projected to be in the Final Four. I mean, are they getting back to that form? Is that what's happening and before our eyes? There's no way I could bet North Carolina here.